All right, and welcome back to another episode of Sunday Morning Jitters. Welcome, everybody. My name is Tyler. You can find me on Twitter at TylerSMJPod, like you see in the little banner below. BJ, you want to tell the people hello?
What's up, guys? You can follow me at I don't even know my username, but it should be right here, and that's why
Be
we
the
have it.
kid
Thank you very
underscore.
much. Appreciate that. You can follow me right there.
And my name is Derek Porter. I said, you can just follow me. Like I said, he has my information down there as well
Make
on
sure,
Insta.
yes, sir. Make sure you go give everybody a follow. If you're interested in following the podcast on Twitter, it's just, or X, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's just SMJ Pod on Twitter. I'm probably gonna have to take the kick stuff out of here pretty soon because I think we're gonna be moving away from that. That's why this one isn't going up, because we decided it would be better to just put them on YouTube from now on. So we're gonna probably start making our way over to that space. But either way, let's get right into it, man. DJ, you got some news from this first week of football action.
Yes. And then I didn't expect it to be so much, but it's week one. We're back. We've had a full slate of games. Everybody has played a game. No one tied, so that's fantastic. I thought we was going to have one last night, but we didn't. But, at the top of the news, everyone knows Aaron Rodgers. He is done for the season. His career, or season, I should say, with the Jets lasted 4 plays, 75 seconds. He ruptured his Achilles. He is going to be done. The Jets say that they're sticking with Zach Wilson. They didn't use the terminology for now. They didn't say anything like that. Just simply Zach Wilson is our quarterback. So that remains to be seen if maybe they bring someone in to compete with him. But I doubt it. Maybe just some depth behind him. Of course, they're going to need another quarterback on the roster. Also, J.K. Dobbins, sadly, unfortunately, he also ruptured his Achilles in his debut. Was having a very good game. He scored a touchdown, made a nice diving play into the end zone. He ruptured his Achilles. He is out for the season as well. Eagles linebacker Nakobe Dean, he was seen in a walking boot. Haven't really got confirmation on what his injury is. A couple other guys are also in their boat. And that boat, they're gonna have to get MRIs. They're gonna have to get more tests to find out, how long these guys are gonna be out. Which brings me to Austin Eckler. He's also going to have to get an MRI. People think it's a high ankle sprain or mid ankle sprain. We're waiting to see with Austin Eckler. He could miss a couple of weeks. Deontay Johnson, word is he's going to miss a couple of weeks. He's had a hamstring injury. He's one of many people to suffer hamstring injuries, along with Greg Dulcich, a tight end for the Denver Broncos. He's going to miss a couple of weeks with hamstring injuries. Chris Jones, Chiefs defensive tackle, he signs a 1-year deal. A lot of money. So, he kind of went the running back route. He was on a franchise tag. He didn't like that. They gave him a 1-year deal. He still is going to be a unrestricted free agent next season. Chiefs kind of, not paying guys unless they're Patrick Mahomes. It just kind of seems like they let Tyreek Hill go. They let other players go. Maybe they're just like, you know what, we have Patrick Mahomes. We don't need to pay you a shit ton of fucking money. Tariq Cohen, shout out to Tariq Cohen. He hasn't played since 2020. He was training in this off season. He tore his ACL, tore his MCL, broke his fucking leg. I mean, this guy legs are just obliterated, but he plans to sign with the Carolina Panthers. And I wanted to mention that because Kareem Hunt has yet to, sign with a team. I know he had a couple of visits and everything. I'm just kind of wondering why is he waiting? Maybe he's waiting for a situation to where a starter gets injured and he gets a nice little payday for waiting it out. So I can definitely see that happening. That's it for the news. A couple of guys, we're still waiting on their injury updates, and hopefully we'll have that in the next show.
Very nicely done, BJ. Yeah, man, lots of news, lots of big injuries around the league. It was just kind of a nightmare. But shout out to Tariq Cohen, man, making his way possibly back into the league there. That's huge, man. Welcome. I can't wait to get that little dude back in the league. He was fun to watch with Chicago. All right, I guess we can go over some of the top five fantasy players from every position if y'all are curious in hearing this It's kind of interesting, man. Kind of interesting. The quarterback is a little bit of everything. There's not a whole lot of people that you'd expect to hear on this list. But we'll get through it. I'm curious to see what everybody thinks. So first on the board, no surprise here, we had Tua with the Miami Dolphins putting up 26.1 points. He lit the scoreboard up. No surprise there. Number 2, Mac Jones, New England Patriot. Mac Jones.
Holy shit, I did not know we got cooked that bad.
Yeah, 316 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick, and 2 carries for 15 yards. So nice little day there from Mac Jones, huh? Think y'all think Bill found his quarterback or what?
Shout out Mac 10, I mean, when looking at that game, it was wide receivers just were so open. It wasn't like he was making any crazy plays. It just kind of looked like Patrick Mahomes. And I know what Patrick Mahomes. It just in the Super Bowl, wide receivers were just wide open. The secondary of the Eagles, holy shit, they did not have that good of a game. The linebackers did not have a good game. And Mac Jones just took what we gave him.
Good point. That's a good point. Number 3 on the list, man. Another quarterback you probably don't expect to see up here. Jordan Love. Jordan Love put up 23 fantasy points, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 carries for 12 yards. What do y'all think about this one? He's, first game, Jordan Love has really stepped into his own as a starter for the Green Bay Packers after sitting behind Rodgers for years. And he goes up and puts out a top 3 performance fantasy football wise and gets a road win against a division rival.
Against Chicago, I was super surprised, dude. I was like, holy crap, dude. I was thinking maybe Justin Fields is going to do his thing. He's a little bit more experienced. He's had more game time, more experience. And I was like, okay. But then Jordan Love, he came out and showed him. He's like, hey, I sat underneath the bench for a while, but I'm going to ball out and show him why I deserve that starting role. I was super surprised. I was like, ooh.
Shout out to Romeo Dobbs. He got 2 of them things. Shout out Romeo Dobbs.
Shout out Romeo Dobbs. Finally, they couldn't do it last year when I had you on my fantasy team, but that's it. Also, by the way, this is going to be my weekly reminder, my weekly PSA. If you are in a fantasy football league and you haven't scooped up Roschon Johnson, you better fucking do it because that boy's going to be the starter soon. He's the truth. Wait, he's the best running back Chicago has, and I don't really think it's close. Let's move on to number 4 on the list, a first-timer in the top 5 because he's a rookie. Anthony Richardson, 233 yards, touchdown and a pick, and 10 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. And Derek, I know this was your fantasy start of the week quarterback-wise, so go ahead. Go ahead and brag a little bit.
Hey, what can I say? I got a little eye on him. Like I said, but I'm used to more of a quarterback. He's going to use some of his legs, but my thing was, like I say, he needs to protect himself a lot more because he's going to. Like I said, they even took him out of the fourth quarter because he did get injured. But like I said, it's a good thing. It's like a minor injury, so he's going to be playing next week. But again, he needs to protect himself some more. He's not in college. He's in the NFL. There's some bigger boys out there who will light him up and looking to take his head. So
that's a very good point. After the game, I think they said Trevor Lawrence actually went up to Anthony Richardson and was like, hey, you're good, but you need to start, sliding and protecting yourself because these are different hits than in college.
It's true. That is true, and I'm not going to lie. I feel like that's a conversation the Bills coaching staff needs to have with Josh Allen because, my God, my man's out there diving around like Superman in, like, the first quarter. Like, dude, you got 17 games to go, and there's monsters on that defense. You should probably slide your ass down. But Josh Allen's always been like that. I've always watching him play had a fear. Like, man, yeah, you're having fun right now, and it's cool to make those highlight plays. But my God, I could see if I was a Bills fan, I'd be shitting my pants every time he tucks the ball. Know that much. All right, moving on. Number 5, man, a name that we haven't seen anywhere on fantasy football rankings for a while. Deshaun Watson of the Cleveland Browns. Pretty okay performance. 21.7 points, so solid. 154 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. 5 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. And then he also had a 2-point conversion. So, any comments on Deshaun Watson?
Sounds like he's going to quietly have a underrated season, and that's going to piss me off.
The comeback is real, I guess. He's coming back saying, hey, I deserve this money that I got paid. Deserves to be a starting quarterback. But he's top 5 right now.
Top 5
He's
in
saying,
fantasy.
"Hey, I'm here."
Fantasy, top 5 in fantasy.
Hey, that's what. Hey, but he's
But
saying he deserves it. So he's at least he's earning his money.
let's make a note that they were playing the Bengals. I mean, I'm going to keep saying it. The Bengals are terrible in openers. Look it up. They suck. They suck in openers. Now, credit to them. You know what I'm saying? That Browns defense, they're phenomenal. I think they're going to be a really good unit. Yeah, it just seems like Deshaun Watt's going to have an underrated year.
No, to be fair, if it wasn't for, which I know it's part of his game, but if it wasn't for the 45 rushing yards, if you just take away his rushing touchdown and his 45 rushing yards, it's a pretty mediocre stat line, you know. 16 to 29 for 154 yards, a touchdown and a pick. But at the same time, you know, you add in his 5 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown, you add in Nick Chubb, then it looks a lot more impressive. So is what it is, man. That's what they paid him to do, so he's gonna do it. Let's move on to the running backs. Now, this is the exact opposite of quarterbacks. Every single person except one on this list is somebody you expect to see in or around the top 5 every single fucking week. So we can pretty much just move through these pretty quick. I'll just give you all a rundown. Number 1, we got Aaron Jones. No surprise here. 26.7 points. 9 carries for 41 yards and a touchdown, 2 receptions, 86 yards and a touchdown. But what is surprising about that stat line and his positioning is that he got hurt in the 3rd fucking quarter and still finished as the RB1 this week. So
that's insane.
That's impressive. The man is a monster. Aaron Jones is built different. Austin Eckler comes in at number 2, 26.4 points. CMC comes in at number 3. 25.9 points, no surprise. Top 3 rounding out pretty much like you expect. Number 4, Tyler Algier, 24.4 points. He had 15 carries for 75 yards and 2 tutties on the ground, and also added in 3 receptions for 19 yards. Oh, you know, not the Atlanta Falcons running back I would have expected to see in the top 5 first week, but anybody have any thoughts on the Bijan Tyler Algier split going forward?
I mean, I like it, but I think I can't really say because I didn't see the games. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch them, but I watched the highlights and highlights of the games. I feel like he kind of stole the touches. But it is what it is.
I'm just hoping it's a Jahmyr Gibbs situation. You know, Jahmyr Gibbs was a lot more explosive and efficient than David Montgomery, but Dan Campbell said, hey, I just wanted to kind of ease him in. I didn't want to give him the whole workload right now. You know, we got a good back that's behind him and in front of him, pause. But, you know, so they wanted to kind of, you know, ease him in. So I'm hoping that's kind of the situation with Bijan. You don't want to just hand him 20 carries right there. I mean, do it. I would love to see it, but I guess, you know, of course, they're being smart with their very high draft pick.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. It seems like all the running backs around the league kind of got the same rookie treatment. Almost regardless of where you got picked, they all got pretty similar rookie treatment. I think Tank Bigsby might have had like 5 carries. I know Jahmyr Gibbs had like 7 or 9 total touches, and Bijan splitting reps big time with Tyler Algier. So it seems like they all kind of got that rookie treatment. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, because there's a name that I cannot believe is not on there right now.
Okay, all right. Well, rounding off the top 5, we got Tony Pollard coming in at 22.2 points. It wasn't super overwhelming day, 14 carries for 70 yards, but he got 2 touchdowns, so that'll get you up there on the scoreboard quick.
Super surprised Breece Hall is not on this list. I mean, he just went bonkers yesterday, but I guess maybe he didn't get the touchdowns, but he definitely got the yards.
Got the yards for sure. Yeah. It was just off yards. Go ahead.
I was gonna say at one point of the game, I said he was 54 yards per carry?
Yeah,
off of his second touch. Hey, his second touch of the ball, he ran an 83-yard carry down, down the sideline. Oh, that was nice. That was beautiful.
For anybody listening who doesn't do fantasy football, this top 5 list is not. It's not in order of who is the best running back for the week, and it's not rushing yards for the week like rushing leaders. This is strictly fantasy points. So, and it's PPR fantasy points on top of that. So, Austin Eckler is the one who finished in the top 5 with the most rushing yards at 117. But after that was Tyler Algier with 75. So, if we were going strictly off yardage, Breece Hall he's probably number 2 in the league right now. Probably top 3 somewhere, but I just don't know where exactly. But like I said, it's fantasy points, okay? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you, Breece Hall fans, Jets fans, I'm just telling you, it's fantasy, okay? All right, let's move it on to wide receivers. We do have some interesting names in this one that I'm curious to hear about. Obviously, number 1 this week was Tyreek Hill with an absolute dominant performance. 11 receptions, 215 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Anybody?
He said he was going for 2,000. He said he was going for 2,000. Holy shit.
Hey, he's a tenth of the way there already, man. Shit.
Might as well go for 3. Fuck it. Why not?
Dude. Oh, shit. If he gets a 3,000 yard, would he be the first one in NFL history to do that?
Yes, he would.
First
Absolutely.
First one to get to 2 if he got there, I think.
Yeah. No one. I don't think anyone's ever got 2.
Hey. I don't know about the old times. Like I said, I don't know about old scores, so I definitely see that. But hey, he's on pace for it. He's on pace.
So the receptions leader for a season is Michael Thomas because he broke that not too long ago. But yardage wise, I'm not sure who. Maybe Randy Moss or Marvin Harrison. Not 100%.
It's either one of them. I don't know why Megatron keeps coming to my head. I don't think it's Megatron, though.
You know what? We're recording this. I can look this shit up right now because I want to know, and I can edit it later. All right. The current record is held by Calvin Johnson, set in 2012. 1,964 yards. Shout out to I would say the GOAT, but that's going to piss a lot of people off. The most talented wide receiver to ever play.
Mm-hmm.
Not for debate.
Right. Yeah.
Number 2 on the top 5 fantasy football wide receivers, we have a somewhat surprise. Brandon Ayuk, who put up 32.9 points with 8 receptions, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns. BJ, tell me how you're feeling after trading him for a first-round pick last week.
I feel shitty. Like, a first-round pick is nice. It's nice to get back. You're like, oh, it's a first-round pick. But the impact that he could have had on my team this year outweighs the first round pick, and that's one of the trades I really regret.
Must hurt. Yeah, that I was like, damn.
I've literally thrown a huge trade offer for Justin Jefferson, so I'm very much tilting right now.
Hey, you got to come back somehow now.
And where everyone's like, why did you trade him? The trade was made before the game. Before the game even happened, I traded him, and he got to play for my team on Sunday, and the trade went through the very next day. So there was nothing I could do about it.
You know what? I just realized, too, that if that trade would have got pushed through, I would have lost this week because he would have started Brandon Ayuk. So thank you so much for not pushing that trade through, Commissioner Cody. I salute you, my friend. Let's move on to a name who I did not anticipate ever seeing in the top 5 of the fantasy football wide receivers list. Jacoby Myers, 29.1 points, 9 receptions, 81 yards, and 2 touchdowns. What the fuck?
Dude, I was watching that game on the side, and I don't know what he was doing, but he was going off, man. Like, he was just finding all the spots open. He was sitting down, catching. I think he caught over one person. I was like, holy shit, man. Like, he was going off. I was like, shit, hey.
Does Devontae Adams have a nice little guy right beside him? Holy shit.
Hey, on the opposite side might as well.
With Hunter Renfrow in the slot? Oh, man.
Here's Devontae Adams might have competition for the most targets on the team.
hey, I guess Jimmy's back, too. Like I said, as much as I used to talk shit about Jimmy Garoppolo. Hey, he's back now. So
I'll still talk shit about Jimmy Garoppolo. He's fucking average.
Hey, dotted him up, though. He was going off, man. I was like, shoot. He's definitely getting picked up off waiver wires this week.
Number 4, Stephon Diggs with 10 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Not a whole lot to say there. It's Stephon Diggs. This is what he does every week. Number 5, another receiver I didn't ever think that I would see in a top 5 list. Kendrick Bourne of the New England Patriots at 24.4 points, 6 receptions, 64 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Kendrick Bourne, he does this like he will have these random ass games. Oh yeah, he plays for the Patriots. He fucking torched us. I forgot. Yeah, but he will have these games where he will put up these monster fantasy weeks, but it'll be very sporadic. So don't count on him as a consistent guy. Kind of temper your expectations depending on the matchup. This looked like a bad matchup on paper. He came out and gave the Eagles the work. So you can never predict with Kendrick Bourne when he's going to pop off. In a good matchup, he might score 2 points. So it just, whenever it happens, just be happy if you ever get lucky and play him.
But they just got that new offensive coordinator, baby. This is the new thing. Who knows?
Yeah,
They still have Bill O'Brien, don't they?
Yeah, they got Bill O'Brien.
They got Bill O'Brien now as the offensive coordinator. That's what I'm saying. So
they had him last year too, though, didn't they?
I think maybe he switched position. Maybe he was like something different. I know that Bill O'Brien was like an addition. I think maybe he was doing something else or something. I'm not sure, but
Matt Patricia, like I said, he was not, I guess, suited for the offense. He was the play caller for him, and Bill Belichick said, "You're not doing your job." Wait, I can't even do a Bill Belichick. I'm not even going to do a impersonator, but he was like, "Hey, you're not doing a good enough job." Fired him, and then hired Bill O'Brien, and hey, I said it could be the new thing that they're doing now. So,
yeah, then the Eagles picked up Matt Patricia.
It's just what happens with everyone who's part of the Bill Belichick coaching tree. They pop the fuck off as a positions coach, and then they get upgraded to coordinator. They go out and they get their own coordinator or head coach job for a different team. They fail miserably, and they come back. I think the only person who has actually survived that is I'm having a brain fart. Is San Francisco? Was he part of the Bill Belichick tree? You know, we're asking way too many questions that require Googling, and I have to edit this. We should just keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Yeah.
All right. So this is supposed to be a top 5 list, but I've fudged it a little bit because I had to get an honorable mention in here for number 6. We get a welcome back to the NFL, Calvin Ridley, making his appearance in the top 5. Let's go. That's a name we ain't heard in a while. 24.1 fantasy points, 8 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Woo!
Yeah, it went nuclear.
Sheesh.
Not a Tyreek Hill nuclear, but man, that was just really good to see from him coming back after being suspended for a whole year. I mean, I think the suspension was kind of bullshit. A whole fucking year is crazy. And to see him come back in his first game, connect with Trevor Lawrence like that, man, that's going to be a good time. Sorry to all you Christian Kirk fans out there, but yeah.
It's going to be rough. Christian Kirk might be pushed a lot of bit on the back burner here because
might be number 3.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley coming in, and then running game is going to be pretty solid. Plus, Travis Etienne is a good receiver, and Tank Bigsby is a pretty good receiver, and Evan Ingram is still there. So, like,
even Zay Jones went off more than.
Zay Jones too.
Yeah, he did. He was out there more. I think what Christian Kirk was put in the slot. They stuck him in the slot. He didn't do anything. So,
yeah, it might be a rough season for the Christian Kirk truthers, but. All right, let's move it on to the top 5 tight ends. An absolute shit show, as usual, because tight end is the most volatile and worthless position in all of fantasy football. But here we go. Number 1. You know, now that I look at this list, there's so many names that you wouldn't expect. Number 1, Hunter Henry, 16.6 points, 5 receptions for 56 yards, and a touchdown. Any comments on that? There's another New England pass catcher on the board here.
That would be 3 New England players that made top 5 in fantasy against the Eagles. Is this something people can look forward to in their matchups? They see their team playing the Eagles. Maybe you're like, okay, maybe that defense is not what it used to be. Or does the Eagles defense still strike fear in a couple of people and make them, a little bit hesitant? We'll see.
I mean, you got a couple of rookies on the Eagles defense though too, so you got to accumulate for that as well. So it's like maybe they're just getting their feathers underneath their wings. Who knows?
It's a good point. That's a good point. And I also just looked it up out of curiosity. Ramondre Stevenson had 14.9 points. So a pretty solid day from him as well from the running back list. Ezekiel Elliott for the Ramondre Stevenson truthers out there. I know we're in tight ends right now, but man, he got a lot more action in the passing game than I thought he would. That was weird. Super weird strategy from Bill Belichick. Really didn't pay off after he fumbled immediately, and that kind of lost him the game. But, you know,
Yeah.
do what you do. Keep giving him the ball. It'll work out eventually. No, it won't. All
Appreciate
right.
you, Zeke.
Number 2 on the top 5 tight ends, we have the man from Carolina, Hayden Hurst, coming in with 15.1 points, 5 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown. Y'all think Bryce Young, you think this might be his safety blanket, or we're going to be seeing some Hayden Hurst action
That's
this year?
what I was thinking. He was like, I was debating on whether drafting him or like picking him up as a sleeper, but I was like, nah, I'm good. But I think he's for sure the safety blanket for, like I said, Bryce Young, because he's the most experienced. Like I said, he has the most experience as a receiver altogether out there. Because everybody else is still all young wide receivers.
They got Adam Thielen.
Oh yeah, I would love to see what happened when
Wait, did he play?
he played. He wasn't 100%, but I would love to see what happens when Adam Thielen's 100% and DJ Chark comes back, and then Jonathan Mingo starts, getting his groove in the league. Does Hayden Hurst still kind of get those same amount of targets and things like that? It remains to see, but I mean that is a huge waiver wire pickup. If Hayden Hurst is on the waivers, I'll try to stash him for the time being.
It might be worth a stash pickup for sure. For me, Hayden Hurst has always been one of those people who, like, you see the potential, so you pick him up off waivers, and then he doesn't do shit on your team for like 6 weeks in a row, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not making this mistake again. And he goes on to maybe pop off one game the next year, and you're like, ooh, Hayden Hurst again. And you pick him up, and you just repeat this cycle a few times before, you've got the tight end experience. But it is what it is, man. Let's move on. Number 3, TJ Hawkinson in Minnesota, 11.5 points, 8 receptions for 35 yards. It's not a mind-blowing stat line, but he did get a lot of receptions. I didn't write down targets, but I'm sure there was more targets in that. Or do we? What are we thinking about there? There's a lot of mouths to feed in Minnesota, so is TJ Hawkinson gonna get this kind of target focus every week?
If the Vikings are playing from behind, for sure.
What's their defense has said that they're just going to go shoot out. So, I mean, you could expect targets are going to be there. Is it going to be the same percentage? I mean, who knows? It may be game by game whether, who feeds the high hand.
Fair point. Number 4 on the list, we got the LA Chargers, Donald Parham Jr. 11.1 points. 11.1 points, 3 receptions, 21 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty mediocre stat line that was saved by a touchdown, but that's enough to get you in the top 5 of tight ends nonetheless. Any thoughts there?
Like I said, it's just, I think if you got a touchdown this week as a tight end, you were going to be in the top, because most, like I said, all the high end tight ends were hurt, out, missing. So,
and then number 5, a somewhat familiar face to the top 5, Evan Ingram from Jacksonville, 9.9 points, 5 receptions, 49 yards. So, very okay day from Evan Ingram, but that's basically what you're gonna. That's a good day for a tight end in fantasy football. Let's make no mistake about it. And then let's look at the defense here. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's probably going to be the more consistent player out of all those.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
I would say so as well. I have Evan Ingram and Kyle Pitts, and I am starting Evan Ingram every week until giving me a reason to not start Evan Ingram. Or I guess until giving me a reason to start Kyle Pitts, more accurate. All right, let's look at the defense here. Fun week to be a Dallas Cowboys fan. For the record, we already went over this. The Cowboys defense, insanely good. Their secondary is fucking nuts. You already knew about that. If you listened to the Sunday Morning Jitters, you're an informed football mind. So you knew that the Cowboys defense was going to put up performances like this at some point. I didn't know it would be right out the fucking gates. They would come out and smack the Giants around like this. But 37 points. In our league, it was 40. Our scoring must be different. But 37 points is what they finished with. Any thoughts there? It was complete and total domination. BJ, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm a little scared. No, I'm lying. I mean, that's absolutely like a generational stat line that, you know, as good as their defense is, I don't see happening. I mean, like just a crazy amount of things happen. It reminded me of the Dallas Cowboys versus the Indianapolis Colts game. I want to say it was last year, and like I had to turn my TV off. It was hard to watch. It was like I shouldn't be watching this in front of my family. This is disturbing.
Murder. Live murder.
It was such a really good game for the Cowboys defense and special teams. You know, I mean, it was insane. The field goal block for the touchdown, the pick six. I mean, it was just insane. But I don't think it'll happen again. I don't think it'll happen again. But you know, it just comes to show this ceiling for this team is very high.
Yeah, the 37 points, I don't see that happening again. But I do think the Cowboys defense is one of those that you can plug in pretty much against anybody, and you could feel okay about your chances. Like maybe some weeks if they're playing Philly or if they're playing Buffalo or something. Well, actually, shit, with the way Josh Allen played last night, maybe you start him against Buffalo. You get what I'm saying. If they get a bad matchup where they might give up some points, maybe you switch them out. But I could see them putting up double-digit points in quite a few games this year, just based off of the production they're going to get from their secondary and sacks. They're going to be double-digit points quite a few games this season, I think.
Put it this way. I mean, the Cowboys defense is kind of like your flex player or your tight end. And then if your tight end sucks, who cares? You had your Dallas defense that gave you 15 points.
That's right. That is right. Coming in at number 2 on the defense and special teams, we had the New York Jets. Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen was just kind of throwing them things up for grabs and fumbling the ball away whenever he could. Any thoughts there? What do y'all think about the Jets defense? Because I thought they looked really good, really athletic.
Really solid. I said their defense, I said their DBs, they were like attached to almost everybody, like almost always at the hip. And I mean, Stephon Diggs is going to do what Stephon Diggs does, but shoot, every time I said it was just, he had a body next to him at all times. Like all wide receivers had bodies on him at all times. So it was pretty, I liked it. It was pretty exciting to see.
It was actually crazy to see yesterday. I asked the question, I'm like, have I really been underestimating the Jets defense? I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's up there, definitely.
Solid defense, and it makes you think that maybe Aaron Rodgers going down isn't going to be the absolute worst thing in the world. When you look at how good their defense is, how talented, how athletic, how aggressive, and then you look at their offense and they've got Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook touching the ball in the backfield, and you've got Garrett Wilson out there catching passes. Like, you know, maybe if you just get somebody who isn't a complete fuck like Zach Wilson and just runs around like a chicken with his head cut off anytime he's under pressure, like, you know, get the ball out in a couple seconds and maybe just get a game manager. If they could get Jimmy G or somebody, that type of dude, that might be okay. My opinion. This is Colt McCoy redemption season. Let's go get that Super Bowl, baby. Number 3 defense, probably the biggest shock on this defensive list, the Arizona Cardinals with 19 points. They put the Commanders in their place, held them in check, didn't end up getting the dub, but my God, they put up a fight.
That's actually very surprising. 19 points. That's wow. Props up to them.
Hey, as much as they were saying, I guess defense said we may be tanking, but we're not going to just give it to y'all. So I'm surprised that they put up a really good fight, and so it's just amazing. I mean, I'm using amazing a lot too, but it's just, again, every football's so unpredictable that you're just like, did that really just happen? Whoa.
The sad thing about this is once those losses start stacking up, once those 2 losses in a row, 3 losses in a row, they're going to slowly start losing confidence. They're slowly going to realize, oh yeah, we're not very good. We're not very good, and that defense will soften up and things like that. So but let's enjoy it while it lasts.
I think I'm gonna chalk it up to the week one mystery, man. Week one of football is always just crazy. The craziest shit happens, upsets all over the place. And while this wasn't an upset, I do think the Cardinals played out of their ass here, and they're not gonna do it again. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen again, man. Bad teams don't just get good with their bad players. I don't know how to make that any more clear. Sorry, Cardinals fans. I swear I don't hate y'all, but holy shit, your team sucks. Oh, all right. Number 4, the Green Bay Packers making an appearance here. 15 fantasy points. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I can name a single player on the Packers defense. Zadarius Smith back in the day, but he ain't there anymore.
I can say some last names, but that's about it. Like I said, I don't know.
Gary, they still got him, right? You're from Georgia.
Yeah, I think so.
And then someone that we all expected to be in the top 5 multiple times this season, the San Francisco 49ers with 13 points. And they tied with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll give you that, BJ. I didn't have to mention it, but I did. So
I appreciate that.
I said again, I think the Eagles defense, like I said, they're an honorable mention because again they do have those young studs, and then they were still. I said Jalen Carter out there, he was going out. Like I said, he may not have gotten a lot of sacks but he was always right there, like pressuring that quarterback. Always.
Besides Slay, he was the best person on defense that game.
That's impressive. That's terrifying. Yep. Don't like to see that.
Just shout out to Josh Allen. Just real quick, shout out to Josh Allen. I just want to say this stat. Carson Wentz has 95 career turnovers, drafted in 2016. Josh Allen has 84 career turnovers, drafted in 2018. I'm just going to throw that out there. Josh Allen is so reckless with the football.
He really is, man. Like, he's fun to watch, but I'm not going to lie. It really feels like he's regressed from that one breakout season he had. I think it was like right after his rookie year because they just threw him to the fire his rookie year, I think. And then he did not great. And then his second year, he came out and he balled the fuck out. And now he's just gone back into his Josh Allen ways of just like, yeah, fuck it. I can throw this ball over the mountains. So he just tosses the hoe up there into double coverage. And you're like, what were you looking at, my mans? I don't.
And what sucks the most is, let's say, this is the week 1 blues, right? This week 1 is so fucking weird. Everybody had some weird performances. What sucks about this, that even if he has an incredible rest of the year, he's going to throw more picks, and he might be in the double digit of interceptions again just because of this one game.
I could see that. Man. It's hard to take the gunslinger out of the gunslinger. It's not something that really happens with quarterbacks. So you can tell them not to make the throws. You can tell them just take the sack, just slide, just take the check down. But there's something in some dude's DNAs. Like Brett Favre, you ain't telling him to take the check down. He's gonna throw that hoe across his body in double coverage, and he doesn't care. There's a chance that he gets picked off, but fuck it, man. You got the arm to do it. That's that gunslinger mentality, baby. It's gonna keep at it.
I bet Josh Allen's like, whatever. It's kind of like a punt anyway. I bet that's his mindset.
Man, I just want to talk about that KC game, man. That was.
Yes, the game we all predicted 100% correctly. Yeah, we all definitely picked Detroit.
Oh yeah, completely. No, but it was just like, dude, it was just so many wide receivers that were open. They just could not. They couldn't finish, man. That's what I'm kind of scared about in KC. It's like you have all these wide receivers, and almost none of them can catch the ball. Like I said, it's gonna be rough. Like I said, you see the game now. Like I said, without Kelsey. Like I said, they only had 2 days to prepare without him. But it's again, once Kelsey, if he ever does retire, like I said, what's Patrick Mahomes gonna look like then? If these are his receivers.
Don't get me wrong. I'm personally am in the camp of Travis Kelce is the GOAT. I fucking love Travis Kelce. I've been on his bandwagon. I think he's an incredible playmaker. And Yeah, I think they should have won this game without Travis Kelce. Like, it wasn't, even, how do I put this in word? Even with their current roster of wide receivers, like, everybody looks at the drops they had, and they had a lot of drops. They fucked a lot of shit up, but they were getting open. Mahomes was still putting the throws on the dot. I mean, fuck, I think it was like 4th and 25, and Mahomes put the ball right on a dude. Can't remember who it was. It was probably Kadarius Toney who dropped it.
Yeah, Toney, dude. I was like, fuck.
4th and 25. Dudes were getting open, especially Kadarius Toney. He just couldn't catch the ball. I don't see this as a problem really going forward. Like, yeah, it sucks when weeks like this happen, and it feels like the world is collapsing, but also at the same time, these are professional NFL wide receivers who made it to this point by being able to get open and catch the football, and I don't think this is something you got to worry about next week, even if Kelsey's not here.
I agree, and if it is something that continues to happen, I think they're going to start the clock on trading for Mike Evans. But I don't see them doing anything drastic. I think once you get Travis Kelce back and Kadarius Toney goes back to his role, and you got the younger guys who don't have to come in and make an immediate impact, they can kind of develop along the way, then I think they'll get a lot more comfortable and things like that. I think Patrick Mahomes still has faith in them. As long as Patrick Mahomes still has faith in them, they're going to be fine. One of the big topics after the Cowboys game was Dak Prescott's stat line and how people think that he was carried that game. You was watching it. Do you think that Dak Prescott did what he had to do and just kind of like, oh, finally Dak Prescott doesn't have to fucking do everything now. He has a fucking team. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. His stat line wasn't amazing, but if you look around the league, there's a lot of other quarterbacks who won games whose stat line was not amazing, and Dak was also playing in a fucking monsoon. I don't know if you've ever tried to throw wet football before, but that shit ain't fun. He didn't throw a touchdown, but he did have Peyton Hendershot open down the seam, and him and Jake Ferguson have been taking lessons last year from Dalton Schultz on how to drop wide open passes. So we got to get that out of their system. But I mean, he threw a dot in the rain. I feel like he was efficient with the football, and it was a couple that got away from him that shouldn't have. But overall, I mean, when your defense is balling the fuck out like that, and they're putting up points on their own, and they're getting you the ball back on 3 and outs, you don't have to be Josh Allen running around just saying fuck it and eating the ball as far as you can. You got time to be a little more conservative. Just don't give the ball back for no reason, which is something that they weren't great at last year because of Kellen Moore, but we're not going to talk about that.
But I really want to see Dak and, like I said, more of a, like I said, against, because again, it was a very defensive game. So like Dallas defense, I don't know what the percentage was. I can't remember off the top of my head. I remembered it earlier, but Dallas defense was on the, like, in the game longer than the offense was. So it was like Dak didn't really have enough time to be out there and show what he can do. So I really want to see again if he's going up against, again, where he has a team where he's actually having to throw the ball, taking it out the pocket. But again, I think it's just Dallas, again, the defense was solid, and he needs to, I think we need a couple more games to actually see if Dak is actually, I mean, I still think Dak is good, but the question that you were saying is just, I think Dak is there enough where he has a team enough around him to produce.
I think Dak would be happy if every single game the rest of the season went like how it went.
Tell you what, I'll take no touchdowns and like 118 yards or whatever he had every fucking game if it's 40-0. I'll tell you that. That works perfectly fine with me.
Hey.
What would you rather have, 40-0 and 118 yards, or would you rather run around like an idiot and just chunk bombs like Josh Allen and Zach Wilson? Just fuck it. They're down there somewhere.
Hey. That's why they say defense wins championships, because shit, sometimes you don't even really need to have a quarterback and you can still win.
That is debatable. But anyway, well, let's not get crazy now. All right, I think that's going to wrap up our points. I didn't know that was even going to be a segment, but it just kind of happened, and it was nice. So we will rotate on over to the Thursday night football prediction, because we're not going to have a show between here and the Thursday night football game. So let's go ahead and get it in because we got the pick'em, baby. Pick'em scores being tracked right there. Top left corner, everybody's screen. We're going to be keeping up with it all season. Derek was putting in work with his predictions. He called the Vegas upset over the Broncos. Let's see, who else did he call? He called Dolphins over the Chargers. Didn't call the Browns over the Bengals. Me and BJ got that one, but hey, that's one of his 5 losses, so nothing to complain about there. Boys, let's start this off with BJ. This is your team. This is the Philadelphia Eagles playing the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know who's going where. Are they going to Minnesota or is it in Philly?
It's in Philly.
Oh man.
Philly's home opener. Last year when we played the Vikings in week 2, believe it or not, Justin Jefferson got absolutely shut down by Darius Slay. Justin Jefferson has started the season off super hot. He had 150 yards last game, and they lost to the Bucs. You know, that's a game that I predicted happening. I said Justin Jefferson might go for 200 yards, but they're still going to lose the game. And I don't think that the Vikings are going to be a good team. And I think that he's going to get his revenge. I think he is going to torch Slay. I love Darius Slay, but it's very hard to shut this man down, and it's very hard to shut him down twice. So I think he can have a good game. I think Kirk Cousins, I think they can have a good game. It's going to be a battle. But if that offensive line of the Vikings is going to be like that, they're going to get fucked. And their defense, this is going to be the AJ Brown, Devontae Smith game to where they can get it going. They didn't really get it going last week. It was kind of raining. I'm actually going to take the Eagles in this one.
Derek, what do you think, man?
So it begins.
See, this is where it comes to, like I said, not watching the games. So I didn't really get to see the Minnesota game, but from what BJ was saying, that their O-line was, what you were saying was the O-line was.
Yeah, I mean,
they were letting a lot of pressure go through.
Kirk was under pressure. It was the Bucs defensive line, which is still very good, but I mean, it's
no Philly D line.
It's no Philly D line.
It's not, yeah. And that's the thing. I think from just that information, I may have to go. Like I said, I want to go with Philly. I want to go with Philly just because I do have confidence in their defense, and I feel like Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, and all of them, they're going to just penetrate, like I said, as you saw, even with
Cox like penetrate.
They're gonna, they're gonna penetrate that defense or that O line, and
I want to throw some names at you really quick. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Alexander Madison, Kirk Cousins. James Bradbury may be out. He has a concussion. He probably will not play.
Yeah. But even with, like I said, I think even with them out.
You're beating around the bush, goddammit, make a pick! Let's go! I gotta edit this!
Yeah, dude, like I said, because like I said, I didn't see that 12 o'clock game, so even then, I think I would still go Philly. It is a home game for them. That's what I'm going to pick. Philly is the home game.
Hey, thanks for your pick, man. Thanks for...
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I was trying to think, man. Like I said, it's my record on the line. I'm trying to keep my record.
Time. Do the pick. You had this whole time to think about it.
Leave me alone.
We even pushed it back an hour.
Leave me alone. I wasn't thinking about it. Calm down.
Oh
but
shit.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I'll go to Eagles.
All right, so we got 2 Philadelphia Eagle picks on the board. I'm gonna make it 3, man. I am curious to see though, since New England did have so much success last week. It was a rainy ass game, but since they had so much success throwing the ball, I am curious to see Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, all of them go up against the Eagles secondary. But I think it could, at the end of the day, it could just not fucking matter because the Eagles offense is really good and the Vikings defense is really bad, and Kirk Cousins is probably going to be under a lot of pressure. So this one could honestly get pretty ugly.
And just, one more point. I think their weapons, they have a lot of weapons. I just don't think Kirk Cousins will have time to give them the ball. And that's what I'm going to hope, because we're going to need him. James Bradbury is out. We're going to have a backup person that's going to be on Jordan Addison. Nakobe Dean, our linebacker, he's going to be out. There's going to be nobody that's going to be able to guard TJ Hawkinson. I just hope that, we can get pressure on Kirk Cousins and get him to the ground, make him throw the ball away before he has time to get us to the weapons. Because if he does, then I can definitely see Vikings kind of coming here and stealing this one from the Eagles.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Sunday Morning Jitters. We will be coming back at you. Friday, we're going to be recording, so next episode might be out Friday or it might be out Saturday morning. One of the two. That's going to be the big prediction episode. We're going to go over all the games coming up in week 2. We're going to go over your fantasy must-starts. We're going to go over the odds or the spread for every game that week. Stick around, and we do pick them, as you can see. So make sure you stick around. Drop a sub if you enjoyed. We're probably not going to be streaming on Kick, but follow on Twitter as well. If anything changes with our schedule, we'll make sure to let you know there. But thank you all so much for hanging out. We really appreciate it. It means the world. Love y'all. Thank God's football's back. Peace out.